Here is a simple pendulum. Simple pendulum is a string which is massless, tensionless and a very short string. This is a rigid platform on which this string is hanging and there is a mass which is very small, point mass. We assume that at the center of mass, from this point to the center of mass, the total length is taken as L. Okay. Now, we displace it to a little small angle theta and then leave it. Displace it and leave it. What will happen? At this point, it is experiencing a force vertically downward and that force is mg. This direction is vertical, this direction is also vertical. So these two lines are parallel and this becomes the intersection. So if this angle is theta, this angle is also theta. Now, if this was the force in vertical direction mg, we can make it into two components. One is along this line with the theta, so that will be mg cos theta, and one will be perpendicular to this line, that will be mg sin theta. Now, this mg can be looked upon as if there are two forces acting on it. This force mg cos theta is balanced by tension developed in this string. So, this cannot come in this direction. So, this is balanced by tension T. Okay. The other component mg sin theta, this become unbalanced. There is nothing here to balance it, and unbalanced force, what does it do? It always creates acceleration. So that creates acceleration. Let that acceleration be A. So if A acceleration is created on mass, what is the force on this? M into A. That M into A, who has given? This mg sin theta. So mg sin theta is responsible to bring it back to the mean position. So this will be known as restoring force. So mg sin theta is restoring force and that is equal to ma, where A is acceleration generated here. So if this is the equation, ma is equal to this, m is cancelled, we get acceleration is equal to g sin theta. This is the acceleration in this direction. Now, we again make certain approximation. Theta is so small that sin theta is equal to theta in radian. This exercise we have done earlier. For small angle, calculate theta as arc upon radius, and it will be similar to sin theta and tangent theta. Tangent theta, sin theta and theta in radian. All three are almost same if theta is very small. That we use here. So sin theta is theta and theta is arc upon radius. For this theta, arc is this displacement x and radius is L, because this is a rotational motion like this. So this is arc, this is arc, this is radius. So x upon L is theta. Okay, so now we got theta converted into L. Again, we come here, A is equal to g sin theta. In place of sin theta, we put x upon L. So A is equal to g into x upon L. We write it here. Equation 1 become A is equal to g x upon L. Now, g is a constant at a place, and during this rotation, L is not changing. So L is also a constant. If these two are constants, then A and x, they are changing and they are proportionate to each other. Therefore, acceleration is proportionate to displacement. Now, acceleration is in this direction while displacement is in this direction. They are opposite to each other. Now we got two properties here. Acceleration is proportionate to displacement and acceleration is opposite to displacement. In opposite direction but directly proportionate, means more is the displacement, more is the acceleration. Now, if it is happening here, then which type of motion it is? Which type of oscillation it is? Answer, this is now simple harmonic oscillation, because these are the two properties. One is acceleration proportional to displacement, and second it is in opposite direction. Okay, in opposite direction. And because of these two, we can declare that it is a simple harmonic motion. Now if we say it is a simple harmonic motion, we can apply all the formula we have studied on this motion. And one of the formula we have studied is that time period of simple harmonic motion is equal to 2 pi root displacement upon acceleration. Displacement upon acceleration. This is the time period for any simple harmonic motion. Now here displacement is x and acceleration is a, and here we have got displacement and acceleration. So we find out this expression, displacement of acceleration, from here. Take it on this side, displacement upon acceleration, x upon a, and rest of the two, take it on this side, L upon g. So what we get, x upon a is equal to L upon g. This is displacement upon acceleration. So now we can rewrite it that t is equal to 2 pi, and inside the root displacement upon acceleration which is equal to length into acceleration due to gravity g. So here we can write x upon a, or t is equal to 2 pi root L upon g. This is the equation for time period of pendulum. Okay, now what happens in a pendulum? Why it oscillates? From where does it get energy? First we give it energy here, that becomes its potential energy. Because of mg sine theta, it has acceleration come to the midpoint, that is its original point. Here when it reaches with acceleration, it builds up some velocity. So here it reaches with certain velocity. Then it has inertia velocity. When it has inertia velocity here, then it cannot stop, and it overshoots this position, overshoots its position and goes here. The moment it crosses it, the acceleration becomes in opposite direction and its speed become less. Finally it becomes 0 here. When the velocity becomes 0 and the force is still acting on it, it goes back to here. With acceleration, build up velocity. Here it has a large velocity and it does not stop here due to inertia, overshoots this position and goes on this side. In this way, every time it crosses it, the acceleration changes its direction, bring it back to the mean position, and when it reaches mean position, it has inertia velocity, it overshoots. This is why it keeps on oscillating. Here it has potential energy, velocity is 0. Here it has maximum kinetic energy because velocity is maximum, and minimum potential energy because it is at a minimum height. So in this way it keeps on oscillating, and we got the formula for time period. So this is what's happening in a pendulum, and this is an example of simple harmonic motion. In this we have to study one or two things more. That a very important thing is the time depends on only on length and g. If the value of g is not changing all over the surface of the earth, let us assume all these places where we visit g is not changing, then the time depends only on length. That's all, nothing else. It does not depend upon mass. Now there is a very important thing about pendulum. The time is proportionate to square root of length. Time is proportionate to square root of length. So we can put the values here, find out time period. Now an important thing about pendulum is that it is used for the clocks. Why it is used for the clock, that we'll see in the next lectures. So this is about the pendulum. Thank you.